Hey guys, it's Tina, or side effects may include, and today it's just a casual me talking to you, keeping it personal. So kick back, relax, and chill with me. So summer, fall, and spring, and summer, I'm going to say summer twice, are like my favorite seasons. I love the warm seasons, and I hate the cold with like a passion, which is ironic because I have seasonal depression most summers since I was around 23. So we're just sad all the time in this house. Why haven't I moved to California or the West Coast areas yet? I don't know. I like the New York, New Jersey area. We hate everything over here. It's great. Maybe I like to suffer. We'll never know the truth. So fall is my favorite time of year because I'm always involved in the community service through my haunt stuff. If you didn't know, I build haunted houses and stuff. So I'm much more social than I normally am. I get to design sets at a show, so, I get to make art large scale, it's just so much fun. Making art is fun, but being able to make the art 20 feet tall, it's way more fun. It's like my big hurrah before I'm trapped inside because of my hatred of the cold, so. Plus, I get to dress in my character Doodles. We're dressed in her today just because we were feeling it. And yeah, I like to dress up in this character sometimes. But during the fall, I get to just do it all the time and act in character. I'm not acting in character when I wear it on the YouTube channel, really, because, the voice is a lot. I don't normally act like that, but during a show or an event, it's kind of a different thing. Because if I was to narrate this whole thing and be like, "Hi everybody, how you doing?" Like, you guys would lose your minds. You'd be like, "Oh my god, this bitch needs to shut the fuck up," because it's not a thing. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through that. It's funny and it's fun when I'm doing my skits during the haunt, but not for talking like that all the time. Plus, that would destroy my voice. That is not something I can do long term. So yeah, fall is nice. The smells are great. I love the way the leaves smell. The fall, it's got a special place in my heart. So let me tell you guys a fall story to lift your spirits during this dark, terrible winter time. So I used to live in a mountain valley lake town. It was nice, but I wasn't really a fan because it was really cold and the winters were 6 months out of the year. It was cold pretty much all the time. And because of how cold the winters were, it made me kind of miserable. But I stayed there. I kept living there wow, this sucks. And I just wouldn't do anything about it until I finally was like, all right, I've had enough. I don't understand why I'm torturing myself. So yeah, when I lived there wasn't a lot to do. So my friends and I used to do a lot of photo shoots. I was in college for photography at the time. So being in my young 20s, I had a bunch of girls and a couple guys I hung out with that were like, "Oh, can we model for you?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah." I wanted to practice anyway. And it was fun to work with them. I love making people feel like they're super beautiful and amazing. So photography is a great way for me to do that. And I still do the photography, just not as much as I used to. But yeah, I do it for free all the time just for people because I like to make them feel happy about themselves. That self-confidence. I know it can be hard to have self-confidence, so I like to help people if I can. So not too far outside the town I lived in, there was this abandoned staircase that was at the end of this small hiking trail. It was called Madame Sherri's Castle. We used to go out there a lot in the fall because it looked absolutely gorgeous. It was a popular spot, too. When you live in the woods, going to look at old rocks is a popular activity. All right? There wasn't a lot to do out there. So here's some little history on it. I thought it would be interesting to talk about that. We have talked about a few different historical type things on here, so let's just jump in. Madame Sherri was born in 1878 in Paris, France. She would eventually become one of New Hampshire's most eccentric residents. Originally trained as a seamstress, she also danced in some of the trendiest clubs in France. She was a fancy babe. In 1909, she met her husband, Anthony. It's Anthony. I don't know what. I got this fang in, and sometimes, man, it just slurps up my speech. Makes me sound terrible. So in 1909, she met her husband, Anthony, a fugitive from the law, who was traveling under the name Andre. In 1911, the couple sailed to New York City. New York City, that's right near me. Once there, they whipped up some cover stories in order to blend in and lay low. Gotta keep it under the radar that you're running around when you're a fugitive. Makes sense. In 1912, Andre's past caught up with him. He was arrested, but due to lack of evidence, the charges were dropped. With a clear name, he could now get out there and pursue his own dancing career, while Sherri continued designing costumes. It was during this time that they encouraged the talents of Charles Lemaire, who went on to be a very successful Hollywood costume designer. In 1924, their glorious run ended. Andre, he suffered from some chronic illness and left him blind and insane. Eventually, he had to be institutionalized until he died. This devastated Sherri, who no longer enjoyed New York City. It probably reminded her too much of her partner and their memories. A friend of hers, Jack Henderson, invited her to Chesterfield, where he had a home, and he was known to throw extravagant parties there. Slowly, she became a regular attendant at these parties. In 1929, she moved to New Hampshire and eventually purchased 600 acres of West Chesterfield farmland and forest on the Gulf Road. It was then that she started to build her castle. She found no need for blueprints and trekked around poking stakes in the ground while the local craftsmen were eager to sign on to the project. They found working with her really difficult because she would hover over them all the time, apparently, in her underwear and change things constantly. But they persevered and created one hell of a home. This was her party house, as she still lived in a very cluttered small farmhouse across the street. The parties matched Madame Sherri's outrageous and scandalous behavior. She reigned as the queen of the ball and held court in a cobra-backed chair that she called the Queen's Throne. She then made a point to outdo her guests in her outlandish costumes and was known for her extravagant entrances. Unfortunately, her reign came to a close at the end of World War II. Apparently, her extravagant lifestyle was heavily subsidized by Charles Lemaire, whose checks suddenly stopped. She tried an assortment of schemes to recoup her lifestyle, but none of them worked, and she ran out of money and went into poverty. It was at this point there was an unsuccessful attempt to convert her to a Jehovah's Witness. Weird fact. She moved but returned to Brattleboro 6 months later. There she came to rely on her old friends, especially her past bootlegging associates, for financial and moral support. In 1959, she returned to the castle only to find it so completely vandalized that she could never bring herself to return. The castle came to an end on October 20th, 1962, after a fire broke out, and the property was foreclosed on July 16th, 1963. So, there you have it. That's why, to this day, there are stairs to nowhere in the woods that I used to visit. I used to take photos, read, whatever. Just hang out there like a park. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. If you like my content, leave me that like, throw me that sub, and join the Scripps Army. Numbing that pain with constant killer content, and I'll see you next time.